And that's not to say you shouldn't strive to...
Look, I don't mean to be this way, but I can understand why some of your viewers want to commit suicide after watching your videos. How the fuck are you helping people out with these videos? What's your reasoning? Alright, one, this is asinine and absolutely not true. How do you survive living in a reality like this? This is so negative. You're focusing on one very small sliver of what you could do to make yourself more attractive. If this is the only thing that you coach, this is the only thing you teach, you should have way more of a plethora of things you could work on. If looks are the only thing that matters, guess what? There is so much shit you can do. This is ridiculous. There's a big reason why I'm not a fan of WheatWaffles, and it's because we have completely opposing ideologies. He says that you can't do anything to improve your status with women. It's very much based on your genetics and your looks. Other than that, you're pretty much fucked. I'm on the other end of the spectrum, and I want to focus on that which I have control over and not that which I don't. And I think that when you focus on all the little things that you have control over, you actually have a vast ability to change your outcome and your circumstances. So for this reason, I hate his image over here, because this is how I was when I was younger. I used to believe that I had no control over everything, and I was absolutely suicidal. And lo and behold, WheatWaffles had a situation where one of his fans actually did commit suicide because of his preachings. I'm not a big fan of the way that he teaches or approaches things. I get it that it's a lot simpler to focus on that which you can bitch and complain about, and how you are, lo and behold, the victim, and how you have no control over anything. It does make it a lot easier for you. Every black pillar has their very specific soup of belief systems. The same thing with, red pillars and whatnot. I don't even consider myself a red pill guy. I guess I am now. I'm just a guy that wants to find improvements with women any which way I can. If it's through looks, fuck yeah, I will do it. I even made a video about the 25 things you can do if you think looks are the only thing that matters. And guess what? There's a lot of fucking things you can do if you think looks are the only thing that matter. There's a ton of things. Actually, I wrote down a small list. You can wear men's makeup, which is pretty subtle. You can pluck your eyebrows, shave your chest, have hairstyles that match your head, which there's different types of hairstyles that match your head. If you're balding, go completely bald. There's a lot of girls that love bald guys. Get tattoos, piercings, and a lot of guys in this community also think the money matters. Then why don't you fucking work to make more money? If money is such a big deal, why don't you work harder? Why don't you work more hours? Why are you being such a victim mentality? Growing a beard strengthens your jaw. And if you can't grow a beard, there's products that will actually thicken your beard. And if you have patchiness, just let it grow for a couple months longer. And what you'll find is the patchiness will actually grow and you won't even see it. You can tan. If you have acne, you can eat cleaner and eat less sugar, and it'll make the acne go away. If you want to make your physique look better, start hitting the gym and start studying what it's like to work at the gym. If you're not getting any results at the gym, it's because you don't know enough yet about how to work out. And if you need to, get a personal trainer. If you're bitching about looks mattering and you're not doing good in the gym and you don't have a personal trainer, you can't say anything. Lotion, if you look a little bit older. Sleeping more makes your pores smaller, makes you look a lot more youthful. Body modifications, if you want to go down that route. If you have messed up teeth or crooked teeth, get braces. Duh, obviously. And you can even do Invisalign if you want something that's more subtle, so it's not being seen while you're getting it done. Contact lenses to make your eyes a different color. Why not do that? Why not be creative? If your problem is that looks are the only thing that matters, why are you not coming to creative solutions? That's the thing. Now, me, I focus on a lot of different aspects. I focus on charisma, which I think is a huge factor. I focus on social circle, I focus on dating apps, and I focus ultimately on lifestyle, which also includes the looks aspect as well. But I don't ever tell my people that follow me that you cannot change your circumstances. And I hope in this video right here, he's going to tell me something in what I believe that he's going to say. Most of the time, he leans very heavily in the fact that you don't have a choice about whether or not girls like you or not, which is complete bullshit. I don't care that he thinks that charisma doesn't matter. That's fine. But what I do care about is he putting his people into victim mentality where you don't have a choice about your outcome and you are stuck. Because that is utter bullshit. And it's so fucking stupid to say that. If it is looks, there's a lot you can fucking do. If it is game, there's a lot you can fucking do. If it's all this shit that matters and all these things are an aggregate of each other, there's such a vast amount of things that you can do in your life to change your circumstances. It's unreal. Let's get into the video, and I hope that he's going to say something less than you have no choice. Because if that's what he's going to say, he's dead wrong.
Yo, bitch, I got some buzzes clawing at my fucking stomach.
So I have 2 more spots left on my New Year's Eve bootcamp. If you're interested, text 702-841-9909. We're going to be working on dating apps, on approaching. We're going to be going out 8 hours a day during the most popular time of the year to be going out and approaching girls. Again, if you're interested, 2 spots left, 702-841-9909. All right, boys, let's get into it.
as being too ugly to date as a man? And if so, at which point exactly should you call it a day, throw in the towel, wave your white flag, and choose to give up dating altogether? To avoid wasting your time, I actually have quite simple answers to both of these questions. And to make it easier to explain,
Okay, I hope he's gonna not say that you have no chance of getting any girls if you're ugly, because that's very clearly not true. Now, if he's talking about, now I can see the argument he'd be trying to make is be like you trying to date like a Megan Fox lookalike. I can see him trying to make that argument. I would obviously push back against that. But if he's going to make an absolute argument, the argument that you as an adult male have no chance of ever getting girl because you're not attractive or even improving whatsoever, I hope that's not the argument he's going to make.
using this left-right spectrum which represents all the opinions I've seen in the YouTube dating space. Here's the breakdown. At this end of the extreme, you have the hardcore red pillars who are immensely optimistic of a man's chances no matter his starting point. These people will likely say things such as, no man should give up. Any man can go from a 1 to a 10, men just need to climb the ladder by improving on themselves. And if you are unlucky enough to be born...
Well, let me put it this way. If Pete Davidson is not a very attractive guy or an average guy or maybe even ugly guy, considering he has Crohn's disease, or even Russell Brunson, or even, what's another character? Patrice O'Neal, or Luke Krogh, if you guys ever know that dating coach, and I know that guy personally, and he's dating some dime-piece hot girls. You can look up his shit. He weighs like 300 pounds.
Ugly, then you'll just need to find another way to attract. At the other end of the extreme, you have the hardcore black pillars. They'll say things like, modern dating is completely ruined. It's fully over for sub-5s now, and in 10 years' time for normies too. In today's age, if you're not born a Chad, you may as well give up forever. Now, I wouldn't go as far as either of these sides of the extreme,
Okay, good.
but if I had to choose, I'd position myself slightly closer to this side than the other. This is the point which I believe indicates realism, and like almost all things where there are two sides of either extremes, you'll usually find the most realistic answer falls somewhere in the middle. This is what I'm going to be exploring in this video.
I mean, that's more of a logical fallacy. That doesn't have any sound logical. I know what he's trying to reference, but it's not a rule.
Just with enough time and effort, he can eventually reach the level of Chris Hemsworth. Now sure, I'm all for hard work, but having unrealistic goals isn't helping anyone, and in fact, it causes a new issue altogether as it sets men's expectations far too high, which can set them up to fail. I see many men out there get sucked in by the promises told to them by various dating gurus. You can transform your dating life in just 6 weeks of hard work. I've had clients that went from no dates at all to having 5.
No, well, all right. So that I will say, if you're trying to transform your dating life overnight, it is an arduous journey. It's not supposed to be easy, because if it was easy, every guy would do it, and it wouldn't be. It's like trying to what's the easy way? How do I get a 6-pack in 2 months? You're not gonna get a 6-pack in 2 months, because if it was easy, then it wouldn't be valuable. If every guy could work at this and in 2 months get the hottest dime piece girls, that'd be something. But I'll say this: over the course of you pushing yourself in this, over the course of 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, your growth in this becomes exponential as you start figuring out all the shit you have control over, and your results do continue to get better. And men, luckily, our prime is not when we're in our early 20s, which would be the case if the only thing that mattered was looks. You know what the guy's peak is? 35 to 45, and in some studies, all the way up to 50 and 60.
In their first 10 days. Now, the fundamental issue with claims like these is that they're over-promises. It causes men to become delusional at first.
And there are some guys that do have overnight success. Those guys usually have a strong sense of self. They already have all the masculine traits in place, but they're usually fucking up in 1 or 2 ways. So they're easy, quick tweak. The majority of people that get into this, though, they don't have it nearly so easy. It is a long journey.
And then later down the line, disheartened as they realize what they were promised at the start is far from being grounded in reality. So, the inevitable result is that they give up. I've experienced this in the past myself and have an entire video explaining my story. Link will be below, check it out at the end. Anyway, the next issue I have is when we zoom out from the individual and look at everybody. This idea that every man has a chance I find also to be misleading. And I can actually So it's basically changing the quote slightly from every man has a chance instead to every man has a chance if he's willing to try and everyone else is sitting around lazy. However, what even this idea fails to recognise is that every man has a ceiling of how high he can climb. And for a lot of guys, even if they dedicate their absolute best efforts, they'll still fall short of the top 20%, assuming they've already reached their potential. A great example of this is that since I started doing face ratings on Fiverr about a year ago, I've now had quite a lot of people who've come back to get a year's worth of progress update rating. And for these that have done this, they usually fall into one of two groups. One, they've had a big jump in improvements. We're talking 2 to 3 points here, because they've either lost some weight or got jacked, which has transformed their appearance. Then two, other guys who have barely moved the needle in terms of getting a higher score. And when I tell these men their score hasn't changed, they often get bitter and leave an angry comment like, "How is this possible? Did you even look at my photos? I've been on self-improvement for the last year. How can it be my score is the exact same?" Well, why has this happened? The answer, of course, is because one...
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of taking a lot of photos. I've actually shot a lot of videos about this. I call it the journey of 1,000 photos. You honestly don't even have to really upgrade your looks to that much. What you'll find is that you can... I have photos that are rated like literally like a 3 out of 10. I have photos that are rated 9.5, 9.9 out of 10. It comes down to a lot of things such as your energy that you're coming across with the camera. If you guys study modeling, there's certain looks you can do, certain poses, certain ways of holding yourself. Also, awkward body language will make a girl rate you lower. Having a good energy, having an authentic laughter or an authentic expression, being in the pocket, as opposed to feeling really nervous and really clenched. Those emotions will actually make the photo drop like a good 4 points in attractiveness. Because girls like guys who are confident and charismatic, and they could tell by the way you're holding your face, by the way you're moving, by the way you're speaking, by the way that like you present yourself. So I tell all my clients, journey of 1,000 photos. If you want to do better on dating apps, you have to take a ton of fucking photos. I actually am a big fan of the fact that he's promoting something other than poor me, woe is me. He's also he's also like 3/4 of the way through the video. So, you know, this guy is very negative, and obviously he's not teaching pessimism. He's teaching realism for you guys. All right, he's teaching realism. All right, because he's the realist. All right, it's not pessimism and victim mentality. What he's doing, he's teaching realism.
You reach a certain level of self-improvement, it then becomes mostly about maintaining rather than climbing that happens in the beginning. And adding even more to this, there's this fantastic video online where a man shows 5 years of his calisthenics progress. And within the first 3 years, his transformation really is astounding. His value goes up from about a 4 to a 7. However, once he gets to this point...
He's really harsh on this guy. This guy's not a 7. This guy has like he's really harsh on people. Damn.
For the next 1.5 years, he's more or less the same. And that's not because he's training less or not as hard as he...
He looks so much happier in that photo. His energy looks a lot better. The way even this guy's face is even different. If you look at both the photos, it's funny. I've seen this happen with people in the past where you'll actually wear your life on your face. So you can actually tell by looking at somebody how well their life's going, how happy they are, how are they frowning a lot, they going through a lot of stress, they going through a lot of happy, upbeat energy. Your face will actually start shifting and changing slightly and subtly.
Two, it's because he's already close to his ceiling, so the rate of improvements has slowed down dramatically. It's similar to how I discovered in my 1000 face ratings video, that despite the fact that jacked guys were on average 1 point higher than men with ordinary physiques, there were still 14% of guys that were jacked and sub-5s. This shows for all of these jacked men, they're either already at or as close as they can get to their ceiling. Anyway,
this guy literally talked about how you can improve for about 30 seconds and went back to bitching about how you can't improve. Fuck!
Points I want to drill home from this is that when it comes to looks, every man has a ceiling of what they can reach. And that's not to say you shouldn't strive to...
Look, I don't mean to be this way, but I can understand why some of your viewers want to commit suicide after watching your videos. These things are depressing, bro. How the fuck are you helping people out with these videos? What's your reasoning? This is... Alright, one, this is asinine and absolutely not true. Number two, it's... How do you survive living in a reality like this? This is so negative. Look, hypothetically speaking, can you improve your looks more than just like getting really jacked? Fuck yes you can. Duh, you can. The only thing you're focusing on is literally muscle. I literally made a list in my last video of 25 different things that you can do to improve your looks. And there's a lot more than just that by itself. You're focusing on one very small sliver of what you could do to make yourself more attractive. If this is the only thing that you coach, this is the only thing you teach, you should have way more of a plethora of things you could work on. If looks are the only thing that matters, guess what? There is so much shit you can do. This is ridiculous, dude. Like, look, you put all this effort into studying things, and you put all this effort into studying why a man shouldn't try to improve and work on himself, when you should be using that energy to focus on what they do have control over. Like, what's the point of studying the opposite? All you're going to do is further reinforce your already pre-held beliefs. All you're doing is reinforcing the belief that I don't have any control of my life. I don't have any control over my life. I don't have any control over my life, and neither do you, and neither do you. Everybody should just give up. Wow.
Towards your ceiling. I'm all for hard work, but it's still important to recognize you have one and understand you have limits. For men between the age...
The reason I get so upset about this, by the way, guys, is I used to believe and think just like this, and I was suicidal. And it took me a long time to start realizing that I did have a lot that I had control over. It took a long time for me to start developing that kind of intelligence. When you've been your entire life being yourself on the earth, that I'm worthless because of the way I'm born, you never focus on all the things that you can do. Humans are extremely malleable. We are so malleable. There's so many different skills that you can learn to make yourself more attractive. If it's not like shooting for the top dimes, let's say that you as an individual cannot get those dimes. Whatever, cool. Adding all the aggregates that I made and I said in the beginning of this video, you can improve. There's nothing that you as an individual can do. All right, nothing. Charisma doesn't matter. Okay, well, what if you make more money? Cool. What if you become more famous, or you start developing, like, you start trying to work towards developing a bigger social circle so you can have that form of fame in your city? What if you surround yourself with a bunch of women and you just set up systems in place? Maybe, like, I know people in Vegas, what they'll do is they'll set up businesses where they have women that actually legit live with them. These hot girls, and guess what? Because these hot girls live with them, they start creating these harems. There is so much shit you can do. And if it's not even that, guess what? What if you just go out and approach a ton of girls? If it is looks, this is what I did when I first started, because I didn't think that you can improve with women. I thought you were stuck like this guy did right here. And I thought to myself, well, if I just approach 100 girls a week, one of them has to like me. I can convince one of them to like me. If that's the case, where looks are everything, why don't you fucking do that? WheatWaffles, react to this video. If it just, please, for the love of God, try to debunk anything I'm saying, because I'm not putting out any esoteric bullshit in this video. I'm putting out very hard-hitting things that you can work on, not this like woo-woo shit that works. No. I'm putting out the hard-hitting facts that can work and improve your results. You're focused on everything you can do to not improve. What the fuck are you doing? Like, dude, if I watched your videos when I was like 18, 19, I would have killed myself too.
Of 18 and 25, your curve for looks should look like this. So you start off low, but you get close to your peak in a couple years and then it flattens off. It's also worth noting your initial starting point significantly dictates how high your ceiling will be. A man who is a 6 at age 18 has a much higher chance of eventually reaching an 8 compared to a guy that starts off as a 3. This leads nicely to my final critique of the overly optimistic guys, which is this idea of, if you're born ugly, you just need to find another way to attract.
Whoa, 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 wait here one fucking second. Are you saying guys peak at 22? Guys peak at 20 fucking 2? Have you talked to a 20 fucking 2-year-old guy? Are you out of your fucking mind? You are so delusional. If you think 22-year-old guys, the people are... Women don't go for 22-year-old guys. They go for the older men. They go for guys in their 30s. There's so many studies actually specifically about this. There's a fuck ton of studies that explain how girls usually go for guys in their 30s, which is another point that this proves this whole looks matters thing. Because you know why they go for 30-year-olds? It's not because they're getting more attractive by the time they turn 30. Oh no. It's because they're developing charisma. It's because they're establishing themselves, because they're starting to become more respected, because they're becoming more grounded and masculine, because they're becoming somebody that a girl can talk to who is not going to be a bitch. Who's going to be like her solid rock. Have you ever seen like a dime piece guy who's a bitch dating like dime piece girls? No. You know why? Because no girl wants to date a bitch. It's not the looks, man. You're out of your fucking mind. This is ridiculous. It's so weird that I have to explain this. All right. Is the viewpoint that girls have the same kind of, like, that girls get attracted the same way as guys? Because that's very easily disproven. Girls definitely get attracted to guys way differently than guys get attracted to girls. That is very clear. All right? If you look at anything, any study, anything, girls don't get attracted the same way. If a dime piece guy were to walk up to a girl in a club, which you probably don't know this because you never have gone out. If a dime piece guy approaches a girl and he's weird, the girl will reject him. And if, let's say, like, she even approaches him because this guy just happens to be her physical type, and he's weird, she'll still reject him. Now, on the opposite side, if a dime piece girl approaches you and is weird, we will still fuck her. If,
If you're born ugly, you just need to find another way to attract. And of all the points covered so far, I probably disagree with this one the most. SMV has 4 components: looks, money, status, and social skills. And this idea that a man can forego looks and just focus on the other 3 is completely nonsensical. Firstly, a lot of the time, these things work in tandem. For example, social skills are often built off of being good looking in the first place. Then, those social skills can open doors, allowing you to excel in job interviews, which can give you access to money. Then, you can leverage that money to gain even more looks, or alternatively, status by doing something like hiring a pro photographer, so you can use the photos to create a top 5% Instagram profile.
okay, that's...
Secondly...
Okay, he's getting a little bit more in the direction of what can you do. Okay.
It's almost always better to have your eggs spread across all of these things,
Absolutely.
rather than having them all in one basket. Everyone
Absolutely.
knows that women have a list of requirements that is getting longer by the day. And I believe it's more common for a woman to reject a guy for what he doesn't have, rather than accept a guy for what he does have. For example, a guy might have a great face, good job, and social circle, but if she found out he was short, like really short, say 5'5", she'd reject him. The way I like to put it is that scores don't add, they multiply. E.g., a lot of people wrongly assume that if you're a 2 in one factor, like looks, and an 8 in 2 other factors, like money and status, it means your average is a 6. No.
See, I say that in a way of being enlightening and being empowering, because if you have really great game and you want to improve your game even more, you can work on your social skills. You can work on building a social circle. You can develop on, again, you can work on your looks. You could work on your dating apps, and they all multiply each other. I actually agree with this. But again, he's coming from a headspace of negativity. I get why his channel is so big now. Here's the problem. 90% of guys, or no matter what you do, are always going to suck with girls. Because the girls always go for the top 10 to 5% of guys. Duh. My channel's not made for the bottom 90%. It's made for guys who are willing to look at themselves, get past their egos, and change and become something different. Now, the problem with the ego is that it looks for reasons to stay stagnant and stuck. And his channel is a really good reason to stay stagnant and stuck. It's giving all these guys the evidence that they absolutely need to stay exactly the same. That's how the ego works. It does not want to change. It wants to stay consistent with past actions. And to change actions would be go through ego death. A lot of you guys who watch my channel, you guys go out and have approach anxiety. That's your ego trying to resist change, trying to resist and stay stagnant and stay consistent with a past action. This is how psychology works. His channel allows the ego to stay consistent with past action. Somebody watch my channel, be like, maybe I can change and evolve and become fucking better and have a better life and become something that society and people around me can admire. And then they watch this channel like, I knew it. I don't have to change whatsoever. Thank fucking God that I'm a loser and I stay a fucking loser.
For a 2 out of 10 in looks. However, in reality, because the scores multiply, your real score is actually far worse. 2 times 8 times 8 is 128, which when compared to having straight 6s across the board, we see is almost half as good, because having the 6s multiplies to 216. So, the more consistent your scores, the higher your average will be. In other words, in almost all cases, a woman would prefer a guy who has all of the boxes ticked. Not necessarily to the max, but enough so that she can introduce him to her parents and they won't be glaring at the one major flaw the guy has. Anyway, to bring this back to the original topic of the video, when it comes to whether you should give up or not, I believe it's about balance. There will be some guys that can and will climb the ranks and have successful dating lives. Then there'll be others who either because they're at their ceiling already or are just plain lazy will remain stuck where they are. So, I think the best outlook is be realistic with your current chances, think about what your potential could be after improving, and finally reach a grounded conclusion of what the best course of action for your dating life will be in future.
Okay, I think that's the end of the video. Look, I break these guys down, but I will tell you this. Please don't watch these people. All right, the way your brain works is that you become that which you're around. Watch uplifting. Watch people that are what you want to be. This guy's a young kid. This guy, I think somebody said he's only 23 years old. He's young. He doesn't know what he's talking about, which is fine. It's cool. We're in an era of time where people are getting what's called porn. We're in an era of time where people are getting addicted to things such as anger porn, such as depression and negative content, because fear and anger and depression are what draw eyes. Watch high quality content such as this right here. I don't advise anybody ever watch a channel like this. This is it's gonna do nothing but harm you. Yeah, I hate watching these videos. I know you guys love these videos from me and they get you guys to watch my channel a lot, but I'll say this shit really wears on me. It's so sad to think this is a lot of guys' reality. Focus on what you have control over, not what you don't. This is a basic rule of success in any arena. Now, that being said, peace.